there fans, welcome back to another toy review. This time we've got our first ever X-Men action figure review, and I thought I would give you guys the review on the new X-Men White Queen. But before we get into it, I'd like to give a shout out. I had this X-Men, this very cool X-Men light up sign done by Creative Print. He's got a bunch of different assortments. He's got the X-Men, G.I. Joe, Gargoyles, and a bunch of others. Cool little item that I picked up. Not too bad. I'm looking to get signs from the other action figures that I'm reviewing. So if you're interested, I will put a link to his page in the description below, and you can go ahead and check him out. But let's go ahead and get into our action figure review. We've got here, as you can see, a cool picture of the action figure itself. We've got a profile shot of White Queen Emma Frost in the back here. Nothing really big aside from just, the box and the picture, right? On the side here, we can see the Marvel Build-A-Figure of Chode. He's part of the Starjammers. I remember seeing him back in the 90s cartoon with Corsair and some of the other Starjammers. And so we've got a list here of all the different figures that you'll need to purchase in order to build this guy. See, Marvel, even though they're both Hasbro, but Marvel does Build-A-Figures right. We've got a regular sized action figure, if you will, and then when you get all the parts and you combine it, the Build-A-Figure is much bigger and much larger than the other figures. That makes perfect sense, and it's a shame that Transformers doesn't follow the same type of logic, right? When I'm saying that, I'm referring to the Earth Spark action figure lines. We did a review on Grimlock, and they had the Mad Scientist Build-A-Figure, right? So back of the package again, here's the figure. You've got the accessories here, which are just some basic hands, open and close hands, and then you've got the additional leg piece. So it looks like it's one of Chode's legs that comes with this character, or this action figure. Up at the top, nothing big, just the X-Men logo. Down at the bottom, just a bunch of stuff and environmental free stuff going down at the bottom. So let's go ahead and crack this action figure open and let's check her out. All right, so here is White Queen out of the package, aka Emma Frost. So I stopped collecting comics by the time she became a quote-unquote good guy and joined the X-Men. She was in the cartoon Wolverine and the X-Men, if I'm not mistaken, and she was known as Emma Frost. She didn't carry her White Queen name, even though she was called White Queen as a villain, especially during her time with the Hellfire Club. This is more in line with her, I would say, her X-Men outfit versus her Hellfire Club outfit, right? There actually is a White Queen Hellfire action figure that I was not able to pick up. But anyhow, let's go ahead and get into it. Nice sculpt, you can see here. Wow, the figure looks extremely feminine. As soon as I picked up or as soon as I opened it up, I could tell there was going to be some issue. This cape, although very nice, looks very lovely on her. However, it limits, the posability of the arms. I haven't been able to take it off. I'm not sure if it comes off or if it's glued on. Let's take a look here. It looks like it's glued on, so it does not come off. I'm trying to see if maybe I can slide it up the shoulders. So I can't. So that sucker's on there. So really limits the posability of this character, as you can see here. But let's move along here. Again, very nice sculpt. You can see here the outfit is very in line with her astonishing X-Men outfit. I've seen a couple of comics on there. The cape that she has, very nice detail. You can see here the grooves. Looks really good. The level of sculpting in the hair, again, very nice detail. You can see the individual strands coming over her shoulder. Her face looks actually a lot better than even though I did not pick up the Hellfire Club figure, though I was not too crazy about the head sculpt. Surprisingly, she has high heels on and she stands pretty decent. It's not something where you can just place and let go. You really have to stand her, but she hasn't fallen. Well, there it goes. As I was saying it, she fell over. I jinxed her. So yeah, I mean, not that bad. I would recommend definitely having a stand because, usually the female action figures, when they're on their high heels, they tend to fall a lot, right? Especially with the weight of the cape in the back. But yeah, let's go ahead and let's get into the accessories. All right, not a whole lot of accessories here, to be quite frank. You've got two hands, you've got one closed fist for the right hand, and you've got one open hand on the left, right? So essentially, basically, you can have two hands. You can have them the way that they came in the package with one hand open, one hand closed. You can have two hands open, you can have two hands closed, you can mix and match, right? So not too bad. And the open hands is good because she's a psychic, right? That's her power. Well, that's part of her power. She also grew a second power, and I can't really remember when she developed that second power where she can turn her body into solid diamond, and almost impenetrable. I don't know when she came up with that mutation or that power, excuse me, but she did, and it was visible in the First Class movie, so it was somewhere around there. Not that bad, not that bad. I can imagine them doing a repaint of this figure and having her in her solid diamond shape, which would be an easy repaint for Hasbro to do and a way to capitalize if they wanted on some extra cash using this mold. The second component is the chode leg, right? Nice, nice. I'm actually going to go ahead and purchase all of the action figures so I can build Chode. Like I said, I was introduced to Chode when during the '90s X-Men cartoon, and I enjoyed the character. I mean, it's nostalgia for me, right? Collecting these figures that really never come to mainline, right? Chode, I don't think I've ever had a Chode action figure. Even Toy Biz had them. They did make a Gladiator action figure that I recall, but I don't remember any of the other Starjammers being made. Maybe the female cat person. I don't remember her name off the top of my head, but I don't think she was actually made. But anyhow, all right. So let's go ahead and review the rest of the action figure, right? All right. So here is the White Queen Emma Frost next to another version of Emma Frost. This came out earlier last year in one of the waves. As you can see here, very different action figure, different head sculpt. You can see here that the hair is different color. The outfit is clearly different. Like I said, I stopped collecting comics, years ago, so I don't know if this is some type of an astonishing X-Men alternative costume. There is the X logo here, which tells me that she is part of still the X-Men here in this. Maybe it's an evil version of her. Not sure. You guys who are still comic collectors, let me know what costume this is because I'm really unfamiliar with it. But as I mentioned before, this one does have a lot of standing issues, to be quite honest with you. Her leg, actually, if I look at her leg here, I don't know if the camera can pick it up. You see that slight bend there? That's not good. Does not help with posability or standing. And so fortunately she has this sash that comes over in the back here that helps her stand, right? And that's how I'm getting her to stand. Without that, she would be falling left and right. She wouldn't be able to stand on her own, to be quite honest with you. So a little bit of a QC issue with this one. I don't see any QC issues with the new one. So I would say this is a much, much better action figure, to be quite honest with you, on every level as far as sculpting goes. And like I said, the only gripe that I have is that this cape does not seem to be removable at the moment, and it limits her posability. Her hands or her arms are only going to go so far, right? So as far as posability, maybe this version of Emma Frost might be a little bit better. So as far as that goes, but I clearly like this action figure's updated figure much, much better. I wish I had the Hellfire White Queen so that I can have all three of them. But let's go ahead and switch her out and let's see how she looks with some other astonishing X-Men characters. All right, and here we've got White Queen or Emma Frost with Wolverine and her I guess partner at the time. I don't know. I grew up during the time where it was always Scott and Jean, and I know somewhere in the comics they kind of split up, and then he ends up falling in love with another psychic, which would be White Queen. Again, I've been out of the comics for a while, so I don't know if he fell out of love because maybe she manipulated him using her powers. I don't know. I know that she's a good guy now, but sometimes those old habits die quick. But anyhow, in the astonishing, or excuse me, not the astonishing, but in the Wolverine and X-Men cartoon, that's exactly what happened. She joined the X-Men team under false pretenses. Ends up actually kind of like, I guess, being an actual part of the group. But she has alternative motives at the beginning. She's actually working for the Hellfire Club to capture the Phoenix. Now, in the '90s cartoon, which closely mimics the actual comics or the original comics, the Hellfire Club wanted to control Jean Grey and the Phoenix power within her. In the Wolverine and the Astonishing X-Men, it's kind of the same, but in White Queen's case, or Emma Frost's case, she wants to actually release the Phoenix Force into the world, or to release the energy so that the Phoenix doesn't consume the universe. I don't really quite remember how that works, but essentially she was trying to, I guess, save Jean Grey, but the Hellfire Club lied to her. They pretended like they were going to help her as well, but they actually wanted to control her. So again, it reflects back to the original comics, just in a different manner. So in that cartoon, Emma Frost actually ends up falling in love with Scott, because Scott loses Jean Grey at the beginning of the very first episode. Big explosion happens. Jean Grey is missing. She goes MIA. And so he thinks that, he falls into this massive depression, because obviously time passes by with no Jean. He falls into this massive depression thinking she's been captured, or maybe she's dead, or so on and so forth. And in a moment of, I guess, invulnerability, they have a moment, and it's very clear that she kind of, she starts to feel for him. She starts to catch feelings for him, but it never really metastasizes, because eventually Jean does come back. All his feelings come flurrying back, and then she's left like a third wheel. So really cool cartoon. I highly recommend you guys watching it. Back to the action figure. I'm sorry, I like to give you guys a little bit of background on these action figures, a little bit of what I know from when I used to be really involved with this stuff. But as you can see here, these outfits work really, really nice. Let's go ahead and give this a spin, shall we? Let's see if they'll stand as I spin them. Oh yeah, look at that. So you've got Wolverine in an alternative brown and yellow costume, and then you've got Cyclops. Looks like, again, it could be an Astonishing X-Men. I might be wrong on the title, but this is definitely one of his alternative costumes, very different than the '90s costume that I'm just used to and I absolutely love. But overall, a nice figure nonetheless to have into your collection. I would recommend purchasing the White Queen. It's definitely a grade up as far as sculpting goes from the prior figure that came out. Again, posability, it's limited due to the cape. I don't have any QC issues on this particular action figure, so from a QC perspective, it's good. I think Hasbro has been known for having QC issues, which, if you guys were part of my last live stream last week, I kind of mentioned how they let go of about 1,100 folks from their company due to, according to the report, low toy sales. And part of that could be from, QC issue. I know a lot of folks have complained, more so on the G.I. Joe side than the X-Men side, but I just showed you a figure myself where it had a QC issue, right? So it's just the way that it goes, right? It's unfortunate. But I do recommend picking up this action figure and adding her to collection. The only additional critique that I have on this action figure, to be quite honest with you, is the lack of accessories. Yeah, it's great that we got a chode leg. We only got 2 hands, which should be there, but I don't have any effects to go with that, with this character, right? Look at Cyclops, for instance. He's got those optic blast accessory that really highlights his power, right? Since it's an external weapon. I mean, we've had other characters come with some type of. Jean Grey definitely has, some type of accessory that kind of displays her powers a little bit better. So I would say that's definitely something that's lacking. On a scale of 1 to 10, guys, to be quite honest with you, I think I would give this action figure an 8. I think the 2 things that I mentioned here are the biggest things that are downplaying it for me. That would be the lack of accessories, specifically towards the power, and the issues with posability if this cape does not come off. It looks like there's a peg here in the back, so I'm hoping that it does come off, and I'm hoping that I'm afraid to honestly mess around with it, because I don't want to break it, right? It felt like it was glued in the front. I don't know, maybe I'll watch some videos and see if it's not before I actually play around with it. If it does come off, then guess what? She goes up to a 9. But if it doesn't come off, she'll stay an 8. That's where I'm at. So guys, thanks so much for joining this review. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out till all are one. Bye-bye.